Hey guys, Terry George here. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are talking about owning versus renting, advantages, disadvantages, pros and cons, and what you need to know. Now I know as a real estate professional, everybody is going to tell you, why rent when you can buy? Are you kidding me? Don't throw money away in your lease, right? But there are some times that maybe renting might be better for you, and so today I kind of wanted to go through those. But first of all, let me just say, I don't know if you've noticed, probably not, but I am wearing my orange and blue kimono today because the World Series starts tonight. Game 1, go Astros. I had some appointments today, so I could not wear my Astros jersey or my t-shirts, but I was able to pull off my orange and blue kimono with some blue pants that you can't see in the video to support our Astros tonight so that we can get that World Series win. Okay, all right, so that was my Astros plug. Go Astros, and let's jump back into owning and renting. Okay, so I went ahead and put a couple of things up on the board already because these are the main things that people think about when it comes to owning a home and some of those advantages. So we've got tax savings, we have assets and equity, and then we have income potential. And what does that mean? Okay, so tax savings, when you file your income taxes at the end of the year, in Texas we don't have state income tax, but we have federal income tax, you are actually able to deduct your property taxes as well as your mortgage insurance and interest on your mortgage, the interest amount that you pay every year on your mortgage. Now, side note, of course, go talk to your CPA for the full details, but in general, there are a lot of tax savings when you own your home, so that whatever your deductions are, they deduct that from your income, and it reduces how much taxes you have to pay federally every year. So really good savings there. Also, when you own a home, you own it. Yes, you're paying the bank to borrow money if you're getting a loan and not paying it cash outright, but you are building equity. So in our market, for example, if you have owned a home for at least 5 years, chances are you've built some equity in your home. I have clients that I sold a house to, 13, 14 years ago, and they now have either have a house that's paid off that they can turn around and use it as income potential later, or they can sell that property and go buy something else and use the equity maybe as their down payment to lower the price of the next house that they're buying if they're buying up. So there's a lot of really, really great things there as far as you're building your equity and you're building your assets. In the last decade or so, there have been several times in our market, at least here in the Houston, Texas market, that the appreciation of the homes has actually been greater than an investment in certain people's 401ks. I've actually seen it where somebody was making a higher return in a 5-year period on the sale of their house that they just bought 5 years ago than they did on their 401. So there's times that equity and those assets are actually really building up and they're building your portfolio. And then lastly on here, when we're talking about money, we're talking income. So I kind of just touched on this a second ago, but if you've got a house that's paid off and you bought maybe a starter home and you're going to buy a move-up home or you've outgrown your home or you're relocating, you could always use that home as income potential, and now you're the landlord making money off of the tenants. Now, of course, that has to do with your market and your rental market, and there's a lot of factors that come into it, but in general, you have a lot more opportunity and a lot of options here. So financially, tax savings, assets, equity, income, earning potential, all of that great stuff. That's your typical owning. Those are things that you cannot get, so I have it in red, you cannot get with renting property. Now, outside of financial, there are some other things to think about when you own a home. When you own a home, you get to personalize it, right? So if you want to paint your walls neon green or hot pink or fuchsia or put wallpaper back up from 1970, by all means, you can do it because guess what? It's yours. As long as you are following your city or county codes or ordinances, and if you have an HOA like most of us do, as long as you're following your HOA rules, typically you can do whatever you want to your home. So that's a really great thing that you could do as far as ownership that you may not be able to do as renting. When you rent a property, yes, chances are that your landlord will make you or let you paint the property if you have written permission. Now I say written permission because most landlord and tenant disputes are over what they said that they could do, but they never got it in writing, and it's like this big ordeal. So I always say, like, if your landlord says yes you can do improvements or yes you can paint the walls, make sure you get it in writing on who's going to pay for it, who's going to cover it, and does it have to be put back to its original condition. If you go put granite in a house that has Formica countertops and you do it for you because you've been renting that property for 5 years, chances are the landlord's going to let you do it because you're improving their property, right? As long as you get it in writing. But chances are they're not going to reimburse you back because it's not something that they're paying for. So always get the, like, who's going to pay for what happens at the end of the lease, blah, blah, blah. Make sure you get that all in writing. But customization and personalization is really huge when you own property. So owning property, I'm going to put personalize. And then under rent, we're gonna put like maybe a little bit, right? Just a little bit of customization. The other thing, and this is me, this is my big perk. I mean, I have a lot of big perks because I'm also a landlord on a couple of properties, so I see all of these benefits as a homeowner. However, one of my major benefits is your fur babies. So when you're renting a home, chances are that you may not be able to have pets on your property that you're renting. And if you do, they're going to charge you a really high pet deposit typically. I even have some landlords that actually charge rent to the animals. So if you've got 2 animals, they charge $150 a month per animal. That's $300 a month extra for your 2 dogs or your dog and your cat that are residing on the property as well. They're doing that because they don't want wear and tear. One of the other things that landlords do, and now this drives me crazy, I see it all the time, is they'll say, well, if you've got a small dog, it's $150 deposit, but if you have a large dog, it's $500 deposit, and we only allow these breeds and not this breed. And I have 2 large dogs, and I have seen Chihuahuas that are 5 pounds, 3 pounds, teacups, whatever, chew up more than my 2 85-pound dogs have ever chewed up. And look, oh, look at your little faces. Oh, give me kisses. Give me kisses. Give me kisses. Just a little puppies. Oh, just a little puppy face. Oh, just a little puppy face. Oh my goodness, a little puppy. Okay. Go get Papa. Boop. Go get Papa. They're the best. So just being able to have your own pets on the property. If you own a home and you want an iguana, get an iguana. If you want a boa constrictor or a python, get one. If you want cats, gerbils, hamsters, you can do that because you are a homeowner. When you are renting, chances are you are not able to do that. And so that's a huge one. And again, I mean, as long as you're following your city codes and ordinances and your HOAs, if you want to put chickens out because you live in the county, because you want fresh eggs every day, by all means, because guess what? It's your home. So we're going to go ahead and I'm just going to say pets on here. All pets, and I'm saying in general all pets, but and then on renting, pets are a maybe, right? So pets are higher cost or denied, right? So, and we know everybody loves their fur babies. Most Americans, I think it was like 90-something% of Americans have a family pet. So this is a big one when you're talking about renting or owning property. So let's move on a little bit to, oh, actually, let me go back. Sorry, one more I missed. When you're owning a property, you also have the right to privacy. So nobody's coming in your home when you own it unless you've either allowed them in or they already have an appointment. Even like your county appraisers are not allowed to even go inside of your home. They're only allowed to walk the exterior. So it's your personal space, your safe space. When you're renting a property, yes, it's your home that you're living in, and you can't have contractors coming through and stuff like that just because. But at least in the Texas real estate leases, the way it's written is that as long as the landlord provides adequate notice, then they have the right to come into your property. They have the keys to the property. Even though they're changing the locks before you move in, they have a key. they can come in as long as they've given you adequate notice on the property. So, all of a sudden, the landlord wants to come over, or they want to have somebody come over because they need to change out the air filters. We see that a lot in the leases about the air filter maintenance package being changed out. I personally think that that's great for maintenance of the home, but it's also probably a way for the landlords or the landlord's agents or property management companies to check on the condition of the home monthly without you being aware. So you're not getting as much privacy. So I'm going to add, this is a big one for me, and so I'm going to go ahead and move it back to the top, is privacy. Privacy is huge. So we've got kind of like a lack of privacy there. Now, they can't just barge in your home, and Texas law does not allow them to barge in, but still, you definitely wouldn't have anybody calling to give adequate notice when you own your own home. So that's a huge one. Now let's talk about some great things about renting. When would it be a proper or a good time to rent? So let's say you are relocating to an area and you're just not really sure where you want to live yet, and you don't want to make that long-term commitment. Renting is probably going to be a good idea for you to kind of figure out the neighborhood, figure out the area, especially if you're not getting corporate benefits for your relocation for moving. So let's say I'm moving from another state or even from another city just a couple hours away, and I know that I may only be there for 2 years, and I don't have a corporate relocation company guaranteeing me any losses if I had to turn around and sell the home in 2 years if they relocated me again. Then renting actually may be a better idea for you. It's lower cost to get into the home typically than all of your upfront fees when it comes to home ownership and procuring your loan and all that good stuff. So when you're renting, short term is probably the way to go. You probably don't want to buy a home and then plan on moving or leaving in the next year or two. And you also want to get a good feel of that community. So let me go ahead and add on, and we'll put it in blue because it's a good thing, is so short term, right? Short term. So you don't want to throw your money away on a loan and then have to turn around and move. You don't have to turn around and move and then lose all of your money that you've put in to sell. So this is going to be a longer term goal, and not everybody is ready for that. And I also tapped on the lower upfront cost as well, because with the lower upfront cost, you're paying typically first month's rent and the deposit and then any pet fees that are involved. When you're doing a mortgage, and you're getting a loan for a property, you're dealing with appraisals, inspections, lender fees, earnest money deposits, all of that good stuff. I did another video on how much you actually need to buy a home to get into buying a home. You can click on that link below. But so the upfront fees are going to be lower on rentals. So upfront fees, and then we've got higher upfront cost. So if you're kind of looking at the difference between the two of these, renting a home can actually be beneficial when you're looking at the short term, the couple of year plan, hey, I just finished college, or I just finished my internship and I can only afford X amount, but in 2 years I know I'm guaranteed like this big income increase or something like that. So you want to kind of just stay here until you're ready to go here. That's always a good idea too. So I hope you guys have found this a little bit useful. I know some of it you may have heard before, but I don't think that renting is always a bad thing. I think it's definitely circumstantial, and so I hope that you guys have found it useful and informative. If you have any ideas for any other content that you'd like to see on my channel, please send me a message below, and I look forward to sharing more real estate information with you guys soon. Thanks. Have a great day. Bye.